So, hello, Matt.
Hello.
Tell me where you're from, please.
I'm from San Jose, California.
Okay, and what made you choose Mexico, specifically like Querétaro, to come as an exchange student?
Well, I wanted to go to a country where the language spoken was Spanish, so that I could learn Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
No, not speaking Spanish right now. And
Yeah, that's quite paradoxical.
a little bit, but regardless, yes, that was one of my motivations. And then also my school. I didn't choose Mexico really specifically. My school just had a program that went to Mexico, and for engineers at least, there are not a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of my options, and I just took it. But I'm so glad that I did.
Okay, and like before coming to Mexico, did you already go to another Latin American country?
No, I never have. Well, I mean, I'd been to like the touristy places of Mexico. Like I'd been to like Cancun, but not like real like Mexico.
Oh, so you already went to Mexico before this time?
Yes.
How many times?
I went to Cancun once, and I went on a cruise to Cabo, Mazatlan, y Puerto Vallarta.
Okay. And since how long have you been living here?
Since the beginning of August 2015.
Okay, and before coming, what like commentaries were you hearing about Mexico?
Well, in the United States, you hear a lot of different things. It really depends on who you talk to. And I mean, coming from California, there is a lot of like Latino influence. Like there are a lot of Mexicans, and I have Mexican friends that talk to their parents in Spanish and this and that. But so it really depends on who you talk to. Obviously they're one of our big political people right now happens to be Donald Trump, who is supported by a lot of people that are trying to keep people out of the country. But then there are also a lot of people that are the exact opposite of that. So it really depends on where you are in the country and who you talk to.
Okay, and like you personally, what idea did you have about Mexico? Like about the people, the traditions, the way of living?
Well, I didn't really know much about the culture. I knew a little bit of Spanish from learning it in high school. We have like Americanized Mexican food in California. And like I said, I have friends that are Mexican that still like very much hold on to like Mexican traditions. But really, I didn't know a whole lot. I mean, I'm not of the opinion that we should be trying to keep everyone out of the country, if that's what you're asking. But I just didn't. I didn't.
You don't have any idea?
I didn't really know what to expect when I came here, to be honest.
Okay. And like your family and friends, what did they say when you told them, okay, I'm going to Mexico for 1 year?
My dad thought it was awesome. My mom was like, really? You want to go to Mexico? Why? I was like, why not? She goes, I don't know. Don't you want to go somewhere else? I'm like, Mom.
She was like scared?
A little bit. I mean, because obviously you see in the news like the drug cartel violence and all that gets advertised is the violent aspect of it. But no, my dad immediately loved the idea. My mom did not, but eventually she warmed up to it. And I remember when I told my grandpa, I thought my grandpa was going to react the same way as my mom. So she's my mom's dad. I thought he was going to react the same way, like, really, Mexico? But when I told him, he was like, oh, that's great. Like,
Really?
I've always wanted to do something like that. I'm like, you're 80 years old. He goes, I know, but I still want to do it.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so my mom was a little more nervous. My dad really liked it.
And your friends?
My friends, it was more just like, why? Like, they asked why.
Really?
Yeah, because they're like, Mexico? Why?
That's so weird.
What's there in Mexico? What is there to do in Mexico? That's what they said.
And how did you imagine Mexico? Like, how did you picture it in your mind?
What I always heard that it's a very like welcoming culture, And as soon as I got here, like it definitely is. Like people are just a little more. They're just a little like warmer than at least people from the United States. I'm talking about when you have a stranger and a stranger. Mexicans, at least for me, seem to be a little bit more just warmer, just a little more open and like welcoming.
And were you surprised then by what you found at first coming here?
A little bit. Like I'm not always used to like you walk into a room and then you say hi to every single person. Like I wasn't used to that when I got here. Still not completely used to it, but that was something. But I really like that about it. Like you go in, it just feels more welcoming, like they said.
And how was it for you to adapt to the city, like to Querétaro?
To Querétaro, it felt pretty normal. I mean, it's a pretty, industrialized city. It's more modern. They have, they have all the, they have like Americans chains like Walmart or Office Depot or something like that. But overall, it's just I had to learn the geography of the city and where to go to get to the centro, where to go to get food, or if I want this or that. But it wasn't like a culture shock. It was just having to learn a new place.
Yeah, of course. And about the transition, like from the U.S. to Mexico, was it difficult?
I think the most difficult part was coming here not knowing anybody. The change of country, not necessarily as hard. Like I don't know. I'm a very like go with the flow kind of person, so I was excited. But the hardest part was getting here and literally knowing nobody and having to find new friends and new people to talk to.
Yeah, that's not easy. That's difficult. And like, what experiences, like both positive and negative, helped you like to create a judgment about Querétaro?
About Querétaro specifically?
Yeah, or about Mexico.
That's a good one. I don't know. So first off, when I got here, I lived with a host family. And my host mom, she was the grandma of the family, and she was just the sweetest, nicest person like you could have ever met. And so she really formed a good impression like right off the bat for me of just people here. But then also people like you meet someone one time and they'll be like, "Oh, let me get your number. We'll go out and we'll go we'll go out, or we'll go do this, or I'll take you here, or have you ever eaten at this place?" I don't know, that type of thing. Like it's what I've been saying. Like it's just very like welcoming.
Okay, and no negative experience?
Negative experience? Well, when I got here, I didn't really know Spanish very well. And so, like trying to talk to people, and then most of the time people don't get frustrated, but sometimes when you're ordering food or when you're out like getting something at the store and they say something to you and you just don't know what they said and you have to keep asking them to repeat it. Sometimes, maybe this is just me being self-conscious, but sometimes I felt like they would get a little bit annoyed because I didn't speak the language very well. But.
Yeah, I know that. And what like both cultural or social or political differences did you like notice from where you live in the US and here?
Politically, definitely people always talk about corruption in Mexico, and that's like a big problem. Not to say that there's not corruption everywhere, but it just seems to be very, very prevalent here. Like it's very common, and people sort of just say like, "Oh, well, that's just the way it is." Socially, no, socially it's pretty similar. It's just you have friends, you go out with friends, you meet new people. I don't know.
And culturally?
Culturally, I'd say, well, I don't know. There's definitely, where I'm from, there's not like a specific type of food. There's not a specific culture. So coming here, there's much more of like a united, like one culture.
Tacos.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone loves their tacos. Everyone loves their salsa. Everyone loves all that. But it's very much one, like very much one Mexican culture. Whereas where I'm from, I mean, the United States is a mix of every culture that there is, that are people that are there. So that's certainly different for me.
Okay, yeah. And what did you visit in Querétaro? And what did you like most?
Definitely the centro has to be my favorite part of Querétaro. Just walking around, seeing all the, historical churches and the cobblestone streets. And just, I really enjoy walking around there and eating down there and just hanging out in that area because it just feels very, I don't know, it just has like a certain feel to it that I really like.
And about Mexico in general, was there something you didn't like?
There's gotta be something I didn't like. Yes, so part of the, okay, here's another cultural difference that I just thought. Part of like the Mexican culture is very go with the flow. So, if someone arrives late, or if something doesn't happen, or you decide to do something at the last minute, like that's totally fine, and that's the good side of it. But the bad side of that attitude is that people are more, I'd say, maybe disorganized or just not as efficient with certain things that they can do. And so the inefficiency in certain things, like in offices or getting your food, or when a system doesn't work as well as it should, sometimes that bothers me. But at the same time, that part of the culture is also a good thing for me when it's just like, oh yeah, we'll do this or we'll do that. It doesn't matter. We can do whatever we want. So
It's both good and bad at the same time. And do you speak with Mexican people in your everyday life?
Yeah, I have Mexican friends that I'll see pretty much every day, and just talking out with them, just normal, yeah.
Like friends. Okay. And were you part of a social activity or project during your stay in Mexico?
Like what?
Did you take part of a social project? I don't know, helping in the school or teaching or something?
No, I didn't do that, no.
Okay. And what's your favorite memory of your stay in Querétaro, in Mexico?
Favorite memory? That's hard.
Best one.
The best memory? That's really hard.
There are lots.
There are. It would have to be a memory of traveling. I'd say, one of the best trips I did was when we went to La Huasteca with Jesse and Crystal in August. Yeah, that was because it was a small group, and I don't know. I can't pick out a specific memory, but I'll say that trip because it was just a lot of fun, and it just seemed like everything went well for us, and it was really good. But really, I can't choose because every trip I've been on, the Oaxaca spring break trip was really cool, but I can't pick out a specific.
Yeah. Okay. And do you think all the foreigners that come here as students, they live the same experience here?
More or less, yes. There's some people that will maybe stick to people from their country a lot, and so because that's just the comfort zone.
American people.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely your experience would differ depending on whether you tried to meet people from here that go to school here, or whether you just stuck with your comfort zone, the people that you feel comfortable with. I certainly do that. I hang out with Americans a lot, but I've also tried to meet Mexicans, or meet not even just Mexicans, just people that are going here to school from other countries, like a couple kids from Ecuador and you know, and all the other international students too, because that's a really cool experience. So I've tried to make it as international as possible, my experience here.
Okay. And what did you learn from your stay in Mexico?
I've learned that I have to put myself out there. Like, things aren't going to just come to you. Like if you say, okay, I want to speak Spanish more, or I want to make different friends, or I want to go to this place. You can't just wait for it to happen. You have to go out and make it happen. I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned.
Nice, that's a nice lesson. And do you think Mexico opened up your mind?
Yes, I think it did.
Yeah?
I think maybe not open, maybe just opened up me as a person more, to be open to just doing new things, or being willing to just, I don't know, just being willing to do new things, I think is a good way to put it. And being willing to step out of what feels comfortable and do something uncomfortable, because usually after you do that, it feels good and you're glad that you did it.
That's true, that's very true. And do you think it also like changed something in your identity? Like Mexico changed your identity?
I think it has. I think I'll definitely always have Mexico in my heart. And I know for a fact that this will not be the last time that I'll live. Whether it's in Mexico or somewhere in Latin America, I know it's not the last time that I'll come down here to live, because I really, really enjoy it.
And how did your perception of Mexico change? If it changed?
I think it was more like, now I understand now I understand like the Mexican culture as a whole. Like, you know, I always expected it to be a good experience, but I never really knew what to expect. And now I feel like I understand the way of life here and the way people think, and certainly knowing the language gives you a different perspective as well. So I think it's like, what has changed is that I can say now, like, that I understand Mexico. Maybe not entirely, and certainly not entirely, but I understand how life is here.
And so, to finish, like, how would you describe Mexico in one word?
One word.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
One word, huh? I would say happy.
Happy?
Happy. That's how I would describe it.
Well, thank you very much.
Of course.